All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Highlight Reel and another week in our World Championship podcast coverage. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me scoot a little bit closer. Apologies. Welcome back to the show. It's been a few weeks since our last episode, and first and foremost, just want to apologize for that. If I was a little smarter about things, I definitely would have gotten a post HCS London show out, like right after the event, especially given all the drama that happened, which we will definitely talk about a little bit. But yeah, apologies for that, I guess. I should have jumped on that a little sooner, but also had a lot of stuff come up, and I've been very busy, and I've been traveling a bunch, and if you've paid attention to my Discord or my stream recently, you probably would have heard a little bit about that, but we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. But yeah, I guess I've never claimed to be like a news show or anything over here, so we're not like super worried about like covering current events like as they happen or anything. But it definitely, I don't know, it definitely would have been something smart to talk about. But all good. I digress. We're back today, episode 9 of the Highlight Reel. Welcome back. And we should be good with the consistent content from this point forward. I really did only miss a few days of uploading and streaming. I still had some stuff go up, but we missed some of the like scheduled stuff, like the Zero to Heroes and the podcast. So back doing that. But yeah, State of the Union this week, just to kind of go over a bunch of stuff. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about, especially because we're kind of right smack in the middle now of, it's been like 3 or so weeks since HCS London. We've got about 3 weeks or so before HCS Atlanta, which we're going to talk a little bit about today as well. And yeah, we're just going to kind of, I guess, fill in the gaps a little bit today. But yeah, just to give you guys a little personal update real quick, which we'll probably talk about a little bit more in depth later on in the show today. But I did just get back from out of town. I was actually in Texas for the better part of about 2 weeks. I went down there to hang out with a bunch of friends, and we actually had plans to I was in Houston, but we had plans to go to San Antonio, and we were going to do a bunch of fun stuff, and we were going to go to some bars, and we were going to float the river, and it was going to be a whole thing. We had a bunch of plans, but that unfortunately ended up getting sort of canceled, so we had to redirect, and ended up just doing a bunch of sort of fun stuff around Houston and hanging out. I unfortunately was not able to see I have I have like a ton of different friends that live in Texas, but specifically Cole and his wife Jess, they live in Texas. And so unfortunately, because some of our plans fell through, I wasn't able to see them. So it's been a while since I've seen Cole, but we'll definitely have to do something with the rest of CX here pretty soon. And we're probably going to reschedule our plans that ended up getting canceled. But yeah, that being said, just this time around, I ended up just sort of staying in Houston. Hung out with Justin and a bunch of our other friends, and the girl that I've been hanging out with also lives in Houston, so it's been really nice. It's been really fun. And also, it being the middle of summer, I'm probably going to end up going back here very soon. So yeah. Just a lot of fun, just kind of enjoying the summer, enjoying some time with my friends, and doing some fun, chill stuff. So, apologies for the sort of lack of content for a minute there, but like I said, it's middle of summer, enjoying my time and all that. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that. I guess I could talk a little bit about what we did, because we ran around Houston, did some fun stuff. So just, yeah, real quick before we move on. No, but we ran around and did a bunch of fun stuff. I think I've talked about it before, but I grew up in Texas until I was around 10 or so, before I ended up moving to Tennessee. And so I lived in Dallas and Houston. But obviously, me being such a little kid, like there's a lot of things that I didn't experience when I was that age, and so like I've been having a lot of fun each time I've gone back, sort of running around and doing all the different like touristy stuff. Like we hit a bunch of museums and different stuff. We did like the Museum of Natural Science, and they have a bunch of stuff over there in the same sort of complex or plaza or whatever you would call that area. But there's a bunch of different museums, and there's parks, and there's like they have like the Japanese gardens and all this stuff. We ended up going to the zoo. Um, the Houston Zoo was pretty cool. Yeah, just a bunch of like basic touristy stuff like that, which it's not like the coolest thing in the world, but it's stuff that I really enjoy doing. I'm one of those people that just kind of like enjoys walking around and exploring different places, and like so for me, like walking around the city and like seeing museums and cool stuff, like sort of those I call them like the low heart rate activities. But I really enjoy shit like that. So yeah, really chill trip. But yeah, okay, all that out of the way, we're gonna move on and talk about some Halo stuff. Um, Really quickly, just before we get into some of the HCS London stuff, I wanted to look at the calendar for this month because our HCS calendar for this month of July was just released. Um, so this calendar actually, the past few months, we've had like a ton of different grassroots stuff going on. There's been a ton of different events, a ton of different activations. We had play dates, we had tournaments, we had watch parties, we had actual like major events and stuff. Show matches. We were just doing a ton of stuff for the past few months, and I think there's been sort of an effort recently to cut back on some of those events. Not because I don't know, not for any like super big reason or anything, but I think they're trying to like, and when I say they, I mean like HCS 343. I think they're trying to like keep the events from being too watered down or too happening too frequently, especially when like they all have Twitch drops and they're all different activations and stuff, and it's like we want to be able to like do events with new drops for people instead of doing like the same Twitch drop or the same charm or whatever that we've been giving away for like 2 years. So yeah, there's not as much stuff this month, but there is still a good amount of stuff. I don't actually think I have really any play dates that I've signed up for this month, but there is a fair amount of, or there are, excuse me, a fair amount of like events and things going on. So starting today, there's a new operation in Infinite today, being the day I record this, which is the 2nd. This should go up on the 3rd when you guys see this. But there's a new operation in Infinite, which hopefully will bring at least some sort of new content or something or other to the game. I know since the match composer update, which I guess was like around the time of London, so it was probably like 3 weeks ago or something like that. It's been kind of super slow for Halo in terms of population. It seems like the population has been playing a lot less, and we've been going down still a little bit more. People just in general are becoming a lot less excited about Halo, and it's understandable because at least specifically from the player side of the game, the content in the game has been pretty lacking. Like there hasn't been anything new or exciting or anything super revolutionary that's been added to the game for a while, and it's been kind of stale. And I don't know, it feels, this is just speculation, it's just me talking out of my ass, but it sort of feels like we've already moved on from Infinite and we're sort of looking forward to whatever the next game is going to be. Again, I'm just saying that. I don't have any sort of like knowledge or anything. I'm just kind of talking out of my ass here. But at least that's sort of the sentiment among the community as well. And so things have been pretty slow, but I hope that we can get something pretty exciting here soon to bring some positivity to the scene, because the timeline's been a little toxic recently, which is unfortunate. And not that it isn't always toxic to some degree, because it kind of is. But I mean, I think we're all pretty aware of like how things go whenever things are moving slow, whenever there's not a lot of events, there's not a lot of stuff to play. We're sort of in that limbo, like we don't have any updates or any knowledge about what the next thing is going to be. We saw a lot of this, in the last couple of years of Halo 5 and especially into the pandemic, but like it's especially in times like those when the timeline really starts to get toxic and people really start to turn on each other, which is unfortunate because it's always been my opinion that like these are the times when we need to band together the most, you know what I'm saying? And make the most effort as a community. But also like I understand people are frustrated, people are bored. And so yeah, I guess just the only thing I can say there is that I hope that we get some sort of update or something new here pretty soon, whether that be for Infinite or if we get some sort of knowledge or teaser or anything about whatever the next Halo thing is going to be. But yeah, That being said, that's just sort of from the player perspective. I think from the HCS and community perspective, there's always been a relatively decent amount of stuff going on, which I really appreciate. Shouts out to HCS, obviously, and people like LVT and all the tournament organizers, people that are really keeping the scene alive and injecting so much energy and time and passion into still making sure that there are Halo events and things being done, things for the community to participate in and to watch, and things for the content creators to make content off of, and all of the above. So yeah, that being said, there is a decent amount of competitive stuff going on this month. On the 14th of this month, which is a Sunday, we have the Sentinels Sen City Throwdown, which I believe is a community tournament that Sentinels is running and supplying the prize pool for. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge about that. I'm not playing in it. I'm not participating in any way as far as I'm aware. If it's a tournament that's being broadcasted, I will definitely be co-streaming it as long as I'm able. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, that'll probably just be a community tournament. It's either a community tournament or it'll be like an invitational tournament with the pro teams. But I imagine it would probably be a community tournament. But feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect about that shit. But yeah, outside of that, the very next Sunday, Sunday the 21st, is the 2024 Grassroots Cup, which is being run by LVT. And if y'all remember, the Grassroots Cup in years past has always been a community tournament that basically builds teams combined of different HCS people, 343 developers, content creators, pro players, tournament organizers. And so if you guys remember, I actually won the Grassroots Cup, the very first Grassroots Cup a few years ago in Halo 5. I played with Unishek, Batchford, and Europa Halo. I forget brother's name, but somebody will have to remind me. But the brother that ran Europa Halo, because I was the content creator. I believe Ryan Batchford was the pro. John Unishek was obviously the 343 member, and then Europa Halo was the tournament organizer. So I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same setup as the previous Grassroots Cups. Also, I don't know if that's the only Grassroots Cup we've ever done. I think there might have been a second one, but I'm not positive. I only ever participated in the one, and I won that shit, so I'm 1 for 1. So I'm coming for blood here in the second one. But yeah. Like I said, I don't know what exactly the setup is going to be. In Halo 5, we played it was all HCS settings, and we played on the the tournament maps and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing this time around. I think this one might have more of a vibe of a for fun, a community kind of tournament. So there might be some custom games, there might be some different game types, there might be some interesting maps. But that being said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to play in it. We were all asked if we would like to participate, and I volunteered, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to play in it, but obviously it's still a couple weeks away, so we don't really know. We'll see what happens with that, but obviously I will let you guys know. And if I'm not playing in it, I'll definitely be streaming it, so regardless, I will be live that day if you guys want to come over and chill in the stream and watch that shit. But yeah, also, the week after that, we're going week by week with these fucking tournaments. But the week after that is the HCS Atlanta Major, which takes place from the 26th through the 28th in Atlanta. I will be there. I am very, very excited. I've talked about it a lot, specifically on this show as well. But I made it to every single event in Halo Infinite for the first 2 seasons. With the exception of the Anaheim event in year 1, there were no spectators because it was during COVID. They only had players and casters at that event, so that was the only one I didn't make it to. But every single event that was open to spectators, I made it to for the first 2 years of Halo Infinite. And unfortunately, this season, I had to miss the first 2 events, and I was very sad about it. I missed the opener in Arlington, the Optic Major, because I was out of town. That was when I was on my cruise traveling with my family, so definitely super bummed I had to miss the event. It was a good excuse to miss the event. Obviously, I had a great time. I was with the family. We were traveling. It was super awesome. But I was bummed that I had to miss the event. And obviously the second one here in London, I probably would have been able to make it to that event, but they just announced the dates a little bit too late and I couldn't work the travel out, which was very unfortunate. So I am very excited, that being said, to go to this event in Atlanta because it has now been since October since I have been to a Halo tournament. which is far, far too motherfucking long. And yeah, Worlds was literally my last event. So I am so excited to finally be going back to a Halo event. I'm excited to finally be seeing some of my people, be seeing some of my homies. I don't really know who all is going to be there. I'm not sure how attendance is going to be looking. I'm also not sure what the venue and the whole situation is going to be, because obviously this isn't an HCS event. It is a HCS major that's being hosted by FaZe. So FaZe is running the event. So the past, we've seen Optic run majors, we've seen SSG run majors, but this is going to be the first example that we'll be seeing of a FaZe major. So I'm not really sure what to expect from their event, but I hope it goes well. Obviously, also, we just saw the Quadrant Major. Let me not forget that one. But yeah, the partnered teams, their events have always been pretty good, I think. I think people had some complaints about the Optic Major because I think there wasn't a great atmosphere for the open side of the tournament for that. But obviously, Optic has their stadium, which, at least for the pro matches, for the main stage matches, is very nice. We just saw the Quadrant event in London, which was definitely a little bit different. It was like sort of that ballroom classic MLG vibe. But I still think it was super cool. I actually still really enjoyed it. I thought the atmosphere was electric at that event. I know some people felt some type of way about it because it just like they didn't really have a stage. They were kind of just sitting in the middle of a ballroom. But I thought it was really cool. And obviously SSG was the only was the other one that we saw. And last year they in Salt Lake City they hosted their event and it was like a bar concert venue type of thing. So it was like a little bit of a smaller venue, but like I don't know, because of it being like sort of that smaller concert venue, like they packed it out and the energy in there was absolutely insane. And so I don't know if we're gonna, because also we have the SSG major later this year in Salt Lake City again. I don't know if it's gonna be in the same venue or not. But traditionally, that being said, the events run by the partnered teams have been pretty good, have been pretty interesting, and also sort of have a different vibe from your typical HCS major. Because obviously, like, the HCS majors are super cool, and I love the way that HCS does their production. But also, like, a lot of those events feel very similar, you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of the location. It's just the convention center, the big open floor with the main stage with the two teams, and it's usually the same stage every time. Again, I'm not complaining about that because I love that and I love the way that is, but it is nice to see some variation between the events. And also, typically whenever you see like the partnered teams run their events, they have a lot of like flair and decoration that's usually like it's usually unique to the city or the region that they're in. And so, like, you usually see a little bit more just kind of flair and style when it comes to the partnered team events. They're, like, a little less generic in that way, if that makes sense. Again, not a bad thing about the HCS majors. I just think it's cool to switch it up and see different types of events, as opposed to just kind of doing the same thing every single time. But I'm just thankful to have events at all in the first place. So, yeah, very, very excited for Atlanta. I don't think I will be streaming at all any of the event because I will be there, and also since it's the FaZe major, I don't think we're going to have any sort of I don't think I'm going to be playing in any sort of show match or be co-streaming at the event or anything like that. I'm not sure what, if any, tools for creators they'll have available, and I haven't talked to anybody from FaZe, so I don't really know if they're interested in doing any of that. But yeah, we'll see. Candidly, it's been super cool. I've talked to people from HCS and from SSG, and I think Optic even made some sort of effort to do something with creators. But it's been really cool interacting with a lot of the partnered teams, and like they've often done a lot and gone out of their way to accommodate for the content creators, which is something that I really appreciate. So that being said, I don't know if there's going to be any of that for Atlanta, which would be fine. You know, I'd be happy to just attend the event and just go for fun. But yeah, it would be cool if they had some sort of something. But we'll see. And if not, for the rest of the year, we obviously have after this event we have the Salt Lake City Major, which is run by SSG again, and that'll be I believe that's in September. And then obviously we have the World Championship in October in Seattle, which will be in the same place it always is. So yeah, very excited for all that stuff. That's it for the calendar for the rest of this month of July. Those are the only things I should be participating in. So yeah, definitely like not a whole bunch of stuff on the calendar, especially in comparison to like the last few months. But I'm excited for the stuff that we do have to do, and also it's the middle of summer. Everybody's busy right now. I've been talking about it. Like I said, I'm probably gonna end up going back to Texas here pretty soon. So yeah, I've just been really enjoying all that stuff, and I'm really excited for all the stuff we have coming up, and then obviously for the rest of the season. But yeah, with all that out of the way, I think it's finally time for us to talk a little bit about HCS London. Again, it's a few weeks late, and I'm sure there's nothing that we're going to talk about here today that hasn't already been talked about, especially because all of the drama from the event. But yeah, just to sort of go over it a little bit and give my 2 cents on it and on all that stuff, because I never really did get to talk about my thoughts for that event. But HCS London was super sick. I had a ton of fun watching it. I had a ton of fun co-streaming it. I hope you guys, if you were able to check into the stream during the weekend, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, we had a bunch of content go up after the fact. I uploaded my reactions to, there were a bunch of full series reactions, including, we did like the winners finals, the losers finals, and the finals. I believe, obviously we did the full highlights reaction, so definitely go check that stuff out if you missed it, if you haven't checked that stuff out already. But yeah, just to go over it really quickly, obviously FaZe won, Optic got second. FaZe and Optic both looked really good. I think it was definitely a return to form for both of those teams. That being said, I believe Optic has gotten second now like 3 times in a row, I believe. So Optic hasn't ever really fallen off super hard, but I think they've looked a little bit up and down in their performances, and I think they definitely looked very good here in London. But obviously FaZe came away with it. They just looked unbeatable, and FaZe really reminded everybody why they're the world champions and why they should be on top, especially after the crazy event that SSG had at the opener. And obviously everybody was like, oh, SSG's the fucking god squad now, and Legend is the best player in the game and all this shit. And that still definitely might be the case. However, FaZe definitely got them that weekend in Atlanta. But yeah, obviously the biggest story from that whole shit was the Spartan drama and all the stuff that came with that. So obviously I'm sure all of y'all are very aware of it, so we're going to go through it very quickly. But if you are not, for whatever reason, if you somehow have missed it, Spartan was disqualified from HCS London after I think they played one pool play match. But it was found that he was tampering with league equipment. I think he was reformatting an SSD. I think the information got a little bit confused. I don't think people were sure if he had brought his own SSD from home and swapped it out with a tournament SSD or whatever, but I think he had just reformatted a tournament SSD, which is like a pretty minor thing. I think he was looking for like a performance increase or something, but also like I understand from like the league and Esports Engine and 343's and HCS's perspective of like, you want to have everybody on an even playing field. Everybody has the same stuff installed. Everybody has the exact same setup. You want it to be as even of a playing field as possible, and trying to alter that playing field at all to give yourself any sort of advantage, even if it's something as minuscule as a couple of extra frames, is still altering the field of play, and that's still perceived as an unfair advantage. So I see both sides of it, but the result of that was that Spartan and Complexity were disqualified, which means they basically automatically got last place in the event, no prize money, no points, and then also Spartan was suspended for the rest of the season this year, which caused a whole other shitstorm of events. Obviously, he was dropped from Complexity, and that threw Complexity's roster into complete chaos. They've now made a couple of different changes. That also sort of caused the domino effect of roster mania, because people started shifting around after that took place. So yeah, I have a couple things written down here just to sort of go through it all. But like obviously, like for Spartan now has gotten dropped from 2 top teams. He was on Sentinels, which you could argue was probably the 4th best team at the end of the season last year, and going into this season was definitely like perceived as a top 4 team. And through whatever happened at Arlington, obviously there was all the drama with he was maybe going through some mental health stuff and maybe had some sort of breakdown or was sick or something. And whatever reason, I'm sympathetic to that. Obviously, that's something that's obviously not super in your control, and that's just an unfortunate situation. But obviously that either directly or indirectly caused Sentinels to have a very poor tournament. They ended up getting like top 12 or top 16, which caused him to be dropped, which was unfortunate. However, Complexity was kind of like, I don't want to say that like last chance, but it was definitely like there's not many more teams that Spartan can go through. There's no room on any of the top 3 teams. That Sentinels team was probably the best team option that he had outside of any of the big 3. But obviously given like the past over the last couple of years, and this is not to say anything about Spartan as a person, because I don't know the guy as a person. Like, I don't want to sit up here and trash him or talk shit to him or anything, because I'm sympathetic to all these situations, but like just from the outside looking in, like he has been on so many teams and there's been drama and he's been benched and he's been dropped and he's had fights with different players and management and all this stuff, and it's just been such a turbulent history. And it's unfortunate because he's one of the best players, at least individually in my opinion, in the game, and I think he deserves to be playing on that stage. So it's unfortunate to see him now get dropped from another team, because like now that he's been dropped from Complexity and there's going to be this gap where he can't play for a few months, it's like, what other options realistically does he have? Like, what other teams can he go to? And obviously there's no options for him now because he can't even play. But like, I mean, I guess the best hope for Spartan at this point is that there's like crazy roster mania after the World Championship and you can try to get on a really good team. But I don't know how this like impacts his stock. I don't know if people are super wary to play with him now, if maybe he is going to receive less options or offers because people don't want to play with him, or they're worried about he might not be super reliable. Because even if it's not a thing of like, oh, I don't want to play with him because I don't like him, like even if it's like just looking at the Arlington example of, whatever was going on, whether he was sick or had some sort of mental thing or whatever, like part of being a good teammate is being reliable and being present and playing your best in every single match and being consistent and showing up. Like that is such a big thing, and you have to be, especially when there is this amount of money and people's careers and stuff at stake. Like you have to be relied on because you are in a team of other people. Like thinking about the Complexity situation specifically, with Complexity, his 3 teammates, their coach, maybe even some media people or people that work in Complexity had to fly across the world. They had to pay money to fly across the world to make all of these arrangements and hotels and flights and food and accommodation and all this stuff just to go to the tournament, just to make no money, just to get last place, just to not even play, just to not even have a chance. And I cannot speak for the other people that Spartan was teaming with, but if I was a teammate in that scenario, I would be like distraught. Like that, to essentially for something out of your control to cause you to completely be disqualified from a tournament, and again, no prize money, no points, so that impacts your seeding and potentially your ability to make the World Championship at later this year. So it's so many more things go into that, and you have to be able to be relied upon. And if you're not, then people are going to look in a different direction, and that's simply the case. And so like I just hope, whatever the case, I hope Spartan can figure his stuff out, because I think, like I said, at least individually, he is one of the better players in the game and deserves to be on that stage and deserves to be playing for championships. And also, he's an electric personality. Regardless of what you think of him, regardless of what you think of him or his persona or his decisions or the way he interacts with people on Twitter, he's a good player and he's electric. And he provides a lot of entertainment value, and he gets hype and he talks shit on the stage, and we need more of that. We need people that are passionate about the game to be participating and to be playing. So It fucking sucks. Fucking sucks to see for Complexity. It fucking sucks to see for Spartan. It sucks to see for the league. And obviously that has created a whole other shitstorm of drama because now people are picking sides. People are mad. Some people are mad at HCS. Some people are mad at Spartan. Some people are mad at Complexity. Some people are mad at Esports Engine and the people that ran the tournament. It's a whole other thing that creates this whole other drama. And like we were talking about earlier in the show, we are in such a time where we need to be building each other up, and there needs to be positive stuff within the Halo space, because there's not a lot to be positive about right now. And to have another one of these like, just again, it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's not like this isn't like a super crazy, dark, messed up situation or anything like we've seen some of over the past few years, but it's just another unfortunate thing that's causing division in the Halo scene, and I hate to see that. But yeah, that being said, just to go through the rest of the stuff really quickly from the HCS London event. The event itself, outside of all the drama, was super sick. Quadrant, I think, put on a great event. Like I said, some people felt some type of way about the venue and the sort of more ballroom style. I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was very cool. It was very reminiscent to me of sort of those classic MLG events that you would see back in Halo 2 and 3, of just big ass ballroom, two teams playing across from each other, everybody just packing in around it. Like, that really just like that open bracket in the trenches feel that really just screams classic Halo to a lot of us. Like, I thought it was really cool. It was also, the atmosphere was super sick. Obviously, it being in London, they had all the chants going, they had the trumpets and shit going in the venue. That shit was funny as hell, I'm not gonna lie. But the atmosphere was absolutely electric. And also, on the side station, it was like in a gym or something, like underneath the venue or some shit, because they were playing at a stadium. I believe they were playing at a soccer stadium, or football stadium, excuse me. But like the side station was in like the gym underneath the venue, and that shit was absolutely electric. They had everybody packed into that bitch. And so there was I believe SSG played Quadrant. Yeah, SSG played Quadrant 4 top 4 on Saturday night in the side station, and it was just like, it was like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was like I don't know. I'm struggling with even how to describe it. Like, I can't even find the words with how to describe it. But just like we were talking about, just that classic, like, in the trenches shit, bro. Like, they're just it looks like a high school gym. Both teams are just playing right across from each other, and there's just hundreds of people just crowded around. Super loud, super electric. And obviously, like, that sort of environment, I think, breeds a lot more passion out of the players. Like, regardless of what kind of player you are, I think playing in an environment that electric just raises the adrenaline, and everybody, like, we saw so much emotion this weekend, or that weekend, excuse me, out of players that we never see emotion out of. I saw Lick still standing up and talking shit. I saw Kevin Eco Smith standing up and talking shit. Dead Zone was standing up and doing some shit. Like, some players we never see show emotion like that. We're hitting some pop-offs, and that I appreciate. Because, bro, in my, I don't know, how many fucking years has it been at this point? Like, in my, like, 18 years of watching Halo, and however long Lixtel has been playing for, I've never seen that man stand up and get any sort of hype. But there was one match where he stood up and he was he was clapping and talking shit and all this. And I'm telling you, I've never seen some shit like that, and I would love to see more of it. That event also gave birth to what is probably one of the best, and what I hope will become one of the most iconic celebrations in Halo history, in the Force Choke. Boo Boo brought out the Force Choke against SSG. I think it was on Saturday, and that one of the greatest celebrations I've ever seen in my entire life, and a brilliant different take on just the typical, like, the normal, like, choke sign that everybody does. But I love that shit. Obviously, it was unfortunate because Boo Boo did that shit after they went up 2-0, and then they got reverse swept. So it was a little bit unfortunate, but also Dead Zone broke out the Force Choke after Optic beat SSG for top 2. So we saw multiple examples of the Force Choke, and because of that, I sincerely hope that the Force Choke has some staying power. I would love it if that became like an actual staple celebration in the Halo scene. And again, God forbid, I said this on stream, God forbid they ever let me play in another show match on the main stage, because I am breaking out all these different celebrations, bro. I'm force choking, I'm rocking the baby, I'm talking shit, I'm pointing, I'm doing the whole shit. I'm telling you, I'm going rogue the next time I'm on that stage. I've had a chance to play in, I think we played in 3 show matches last season. I think we played on main stage 3 times. And so I haven't had the opportunity yet this season, and I don't know that I will. But, again, God forbid they ever let me back on that stage. It's going to be some action. It's going to be some shit talking. But yeah, brilliant event, just in general. I think, I think Optic beat SSG for top 2. I think that's the case. I believe Rebellion got either 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. But it was another super strong tournament out of Shopify Rebellion. I don't think I mentioned them at all yet, so just talk about that real quick. That Shopify roster is really good. They ended up floundering on Sunday. I think they went like 0-6 map count and just got swept out the event on Sunday, which was a little bit unfortunate. But all in all, they're very good, and I'm excited to see how they progress, and I'm really excited to see if they can break into the top 3, because I think they've had some different success. I think they beat SSG at London, but then they ended up losing to FaZe and Optic. So I think they've had some success against the top 3, but I don't know if they've necessarily figured out all 3 of the teams. So it'll be interesting to see if they can make a run at Atlanta, and obviously we'll see at Salt Lake and at Worlds as well. But yeah, that also caused a whole shitstorm of roster changes after the event, mostly due to the Spartan situation. But yeah, obviously Spartan got suspended for the rest of the season, so he was dropped from Complexity. Descendant, I believe, left after that, which is totally understandable. Well, I don't know if he got dropped or if he left, but I assume he left, which again is super understandable, because to be a young player and to have to play in sort of an environment like that, and when you're trying to like build your career, because I think Descendant is only like 18 or 19 or something. So obviously that's an super unfortunate thing to happen. Like, he basically doesn't even get a chance to fucking play. So I understand him wanting to find a new team. Complexity ended up bringing Rain back. Rain, I don't think had played since last season. I don't know if he played at Worlds. I think he did, because I think he was on Shopify. So we haven't seen Rain play in, I guess, it's been like 10 months or 11 months or something like that. Or no, like 9 months or something like that, if I can even struggle to do some fucking math here. But yeah, he was more or less, I think, retired, not even on a team. And so they brought him basically out of retirement to play on Complexity. And I think also they're playing with... So Complexity now, I believe, is Ryan, Rain, Huss, and I think they're playing with Breaking Shot. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, it's caused a whole other shitstorm of roster changes. Mikwin ended up fucking retiring. I think he got dropped from Native and then played with Complexity for a couple days in one of the opens, and I think he just fucking retired. So super unfortunate to see Mikwin go out. Obviously Mikwin, one of the legends of the Halo scene, been around forever, one of my favorite players in Halo 5, and one of the better personalities in the scene probably since Reach. So yeah, super unfortunate to see him retire. I definitely would have liked to see him play a little bit more, but it seems like the options for a lot of these people are kind of like, it's kind of like what we were talking about for the, like, with the Spartan situation, is like, I can't think of like any other good examples for teams that Mikwin could go to that wouldn't be just like amateur level teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, typically whenever you see a pro like that, like, switch teams, it's especially somebody of that caliber and with that sort of like history and career, is like, whenever you switch teams, it's like, bro, you would expect them to go to another top team. And so seeing a lot of these players with like maybe less of those options, and then also, to be fair, we're kind of seeing a changing of the guard. You know, a lot of those classic pros and the people that, you know, we grew up being fans of are sort of starting to retire, and we're starting to see that new generation of Halo players. Like, just think of like the amount of new players that we've seen come up in Infinite, and just like think about a lot of our veterans now are like the Halo 5 kids. Like, if you look at like a lot of our veterans now, people like Boo Boo and Falcated and Renegade and fucking, all those people, like those are like those guys are vets now. And the people like, the Snake Bites, the Royal Twos, the Lixthals, like those players are so few and far between now. And we're losing more and more of them, as we continue throughout Infinite. Obviously, we lost Ola, we lost Snipe Down in previous seasons. Mikwin now. So it's unfortunate to see, but it's kind of understandable, because it is that. I mean, that's just the way shit works. Time goes on, and that's just the way shit happens. So it's unfortunate to see, but obviously I'm excited for the new generation of Halo players. I'm excited to see what everybody does. So yeah, Mikwin retired after being dropped from Native and going to Complexity for a second. I believe Native just brought back tapping buttons again. So I think Native now is APG, Gilkey, tapping, and Barcode, I believe is their roster. So I'm excited to see if they can put it together. Obviously, we haven't seen any combination of those players on Native put it together yet. APG hasn't really seen a lot of success outside of the Optic team. I guess it's been almost a year now since he was dropped from that team. But yeah, Collect, I think, is also on another team. Collect was on that team with Druck and Talik in them, and I think he is on like a totally different team now. So I'm not sure what happened there. I was out of town, so I missed a lot of the like details as far as the roster mania goes. Like, I don't know a lot of like who got dropped or who left or why or what the reasons were or if there's any drama. I kind of just know the big stuff. But yeah, interesting to see how a lot of those new rosters are going to perform going into Atlanta. And obviously looking forward to see if anybody can really challenge the top three. But also, it's been pretty interesting. There hasn't been a scenario, at least to this point in the game, where a team has won like 3 or 4 or 5 events in a row. We have seen a bunch of different champions, and admittedly, it's been a lot of the same 3 teams winning. But like, I would at least rather that than, if you guys remember past years, and like especially like the beginning of Halo 5, if you guys remember year 1 of Halo 5, CLG just fucking won everything, and it was so boring. Like, I mean, it was cool, but I just enjoy seeing multiple teams win, and I enjoy seeing a competitive scene rather than just seeing one team dominate the shit. But yeah, excited to see what goes on. We've got some more qualifiers and some more stuff over the next couple weeks, and obviously we have Atlanta in about 3 weeks, and so I'm very excited to go. I'm very excited to watch, very excited to see what happens, and I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about it over the next few weeks. But yeah, that's kind of it, I think, as far as Halo stuff goes for this episode. Just to kind of touch on some other stuff really quickly. I don't know if you guys saw, but I put out a Counter-Strike video. This is probably a week or 2 ago at this point, probably about 2 weeks ago at this point. But I put out a Counter-Strike video. Never made a Counter-Strike video. Never even played CS before, actually, much less any game on mouse and keyboard. So I just sort of recently have started getting into some different kind of games and trying to experiment a little bit more. It's something that we've been doing a lot on our stream the past couple years, is playing a lot of different games. But I also really haven't delved into anything super competitive other than Halo. Like Halo and Call of Duty were kind of the 2 competitive games that I played, and I had never really played any fighting games or any racing games or tac shooters or any of the above. And so like really in this past year, like I've started playing a little bit of competitive like 2K. I've been on some some tac shooters like we've just been talking about. So I've been trying to sort of like expand my horizons in that way. But also, like, me and my friend group have kind of just been going through different phases with games. And so like we'll play one game for a couple weeks and grind the shit out of it. We'll play another thing for a couple weeks and grind the shit out of it. And I'm just trying to like enjoy different things with my friends and try different fun things. And I want to be more like, because traditionally I've been very like, I'm one of those people that's very like routine based. I'm very like, I find the things that I like, and those are the things that I like. I'm very comfortable in the things that I'm comfortable with. I will find those things and I will stick to them. And so like when it comes to the things that I was into competitively, it's like Halo and Call of Duty I've been playing my entire life. I know them like the back of my hand. Those are my things. And so like I could play other stuff, but it's like, I don't really want to go through the energy of having to learn a whole new thing and like all this stuff and blah blah blah. Candidly, I enjoy being good at games, and I don't want to have to go through the process of like being bad and then getting good. But that being said, like that's just kind of the way my brain works, and like I don't know, just in an effort of being more open-minded and being more fun and just doing more stuff with my friends, I've been trying to like let go of some of that and just like I'm gonna go enjoy some games with my friends. And that being said, Counter-Strike was one of those things that like I actually really started enjoying. And if you watched my video, I'm sure you guys can tell like I'm still like I'm a fucking beginner. Like I have less than 100 hours on that shit. I probably have less than 60 hours on that shit total. So I'm not in any sort of like good yet at all, but like I have really been enjoying it. And like that being said, the process of like being bad and getting better was something that like I wasn't very anxious to go through again. But also that being said, now that I'm doing it, it is a lot of fun. So yeah, I made a Counter-Strike video. I probably will make another Counter-Strike video at some point. I'm not sure when. But yeah, I also might, like, we've been playing some Valorant, we've been playing other stuff, like I said, we've been playing a ton of different games. So I might make videos on just anything. Not to say that I am slowing down on Halo or not doing more Halo stuff or whatever. But like, especially when things are slow right now, like, I think mixing in some different stuff every now and then, that definitely doesn't hurt, at all. Plus, also, just being able to like play games for fun with my friends and enjoy things and take a break from Halo and sort of get outside my comfort zone and try new stuff and keep things fresh is a great way to, like I said, keep things fresh and sort of avoid burnout, and just a good way for me to have fun. And so I appreciate any of you that like watch those videos. Like if I ever upload anything that's not Halo, I seriously appreciate anybody who watches that stuff. Like if you watch that CS video, then like I truly appreciate it. But also I'm not in any way offended. Like if you're subscribed to me for Halo and it's not some Halo shit that I upload, like it's not something I feel any type of way about. But one of the things that I've tried to do, especially in recent years, is like get outside of that mindset of like I have to every single video I have to upload needs to be like I'm trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I definitely respect that hustle in other people. Like, I respect the people that upload the news videos every single day and are, you know, stick to their schedule super hard. But like for me, content creation has always been just a personal and a creative outlet and something that I have a lot of fun doing. And in the first place, it was something that I got into to do with my friends. And I don't want to lose that. And especially because given just the nature of the landscape currently and how small of a game Halo is in terms of viewership, if I were to constantly be like trying to grow and do whatever the best thing was in terms of numbers and like all this stuff, like I feel like I would drive myself fucking crazy, because I mean there's a ceiling on the amount of people that watch Halo. There's not that many people out there that play and watch Halo these days. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I enjoy our community, and I enjoy a lot of the people in it, and I enjoy how tight-knit it is. Of course, we've talked about how that can lead to sort of some negative things as well. But for the most part, I enjoy it, and that's not to say that I don't want it to grow, because I absolutely do. I would love it if Halo was popular and we had a ton more people playing and watching the game, because, I mean, we love Halo, and, like, I want other people to enjoy Halo. And selfishly, like, yeah, it would be cool if I had more viewers, but I don't want to lose that, like, I don't want to lose the passion for it and the fun factor and I enjoy everything that I do. I enjoy every single piece of content that I make. I have enjoyed everything I've ever made, and I want that to continue to be the case forever. I don't ever want this to, even if it is my job, I don't ever want it to feel like a chore in that way. And so, yeah. And so just for the case of my sanity and my mental health and me just having fun and shit, I will be doing some different stuff every now and then. And that being said, hope you guys enjoy it. But also, like I said, I'm not offended if y'all don't give a fuck about that stuff. It's mostly just for me and my boys. Because also, I've talked about this before, a lot of those videos serve as like time capsules in a way almost, because you know, there are things that whenever years go by and we're sitting around, you know, me and my friends talking about the good times, instead of being able to, you know, instead of just saying, yo, do you remember that time when we were playing that shit and it was sick as fuck and this funny ass thing happened and blah blah blah. Instead of just saying that, we could be like, yo, do you remember when that shit happened? We should go watch that video and relive that moment type shit. And like, I'm so incredibly thankful that I have so many vlogs that capture us going to tournaments, and podcasts that capture us having fun together, and just the stream clips of us playing all the different games, all that stuff. And specifically, like, that's why we make the compilations and, you know, the best of CX and the best of Halo 5s and all this stuff. It's because, like, in years from now, whenever we want to revisit this stuff, I mean, it's gonna be, that shit's gonna be priceless. And so, yeah, I made a Counter-Strike video. Cole made a Counter-Strike video. It was one of the first videos Cole had uploaded in months. Dallas made a couple Counter-Strike videos. So also, like, we sort of kind of have this idea of, like, whenever we play games together, we'll all try to make a video out of it. And not that we all have to, or that we're all, like, or that we're doing it on purpose, but I think that, like, we all enjoy gaming. We all enjoy making fun stuff. We all like fun moments, and we have stuff that's clip-worthy. And so, yeah. That being said, like, that's kind of what CX is at the moment, is we're just kind of playing stuff together, chilling out, enjoying our time together, and making whatever we want to make. And yeah, I've been really enjoying that. So yeah, definitely go check out that CS video if you haven't already. Go give it a look. It's a good one. And it's got a lot of funny moments in it and stuff. And also, like I said, go check out Cole's video, go check out Dallas's video, because they also have some good videos on that shit. But yeah, other than that, we have been back to streaming regularly. I just finished up, actually. We finally finished the Cold War, the Black Ops Cold War campaign, which was like, I believe that was the last Call of Duty campaign that we have to catch up on, because we've played the ones that have come out in the past couple of years. We had already played on stream, but we've now played all the GTA games. We've played all the Halo games. We've played all the COD campaigns. We're like halfway through all the Assassin's Creed games. We've played the Mafia games. So yeah, I'm also like halfway through Assassin's Creed Rogue, and then after that we'll have like the rest of the Assassin's Creed games. We finished Hogwarts Legacy up a couple weeks ago, and just in the past couple of days we have finally started Mass Effect on stream, which is something that I was so excited about. I talked about it a little bit on previous episodes of this podcast, but Mass Effect was something that I played through for the first time, like back when the Legendary Edition came out. I played through it during the pandemic, but I kind of like raced through it, and I didn't really pay that much attention, and I didn't really know a lot of the stuff about, like, there's not a right way to experience Mass Effect because it's an RPG, but there is like a recommended way to experience it, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, you want to make sure you actually like do the majority of the stuff. And so like the first time I played it, I kind of like raced through it and didn't pay that much attention and whatever. I was playing a lot of games at the time. But I played through it by myself a few months ago and like actually paid attention and did all the side stuff and whatever else, and really enjoyed it. Like, it was a like next level, like it was a special gaming experience for me, and it's something that I've been so excited to bring to the stream and to get started with on stream. And so we just started Mass Effect 1 the other day, and so I'm very excited to keep going with that. So with that being said, definitely go check out my stream, twitch.tv/Reclixmer. That's Reclaimer with an X instead of an A. We're streaming every single day. It's been super vibey. We're playing a ton of games. It's been awesome. And then also, in the same vein as that, remember to go check out the second channel because that's where all of our VODs and our rebroadcasts go. Every game that I play is sorted into a nice, neat playlist over there. So if you ever want to go check out anything that I've played, any of the COD campaigns, any of the Halo games, any tournament I've ever watch partied, any tournament I've ever co-streamed live from the event, any grassroots play date, any single player game I've ever played, they're all sorted into nice, neat little playlists over there. So definitely go check that out if you've not already. But yeah, with all that being said, I think that's pretty much it for the show today. I think that's pretty much all we had to talk about. So we actually went for a pretty long time today. We're actually coming up on an hour. So this is, I think, one of the longer episodes we've done of this show. So I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me for these few minutes. I really enjoyed being able to record this and finally sit down and make another episode of the highlight reel for y'all. Because like I said, it's been a few weeks. So hopefully we are able to stay consistent over the next couple weeks and keep coming with the Zero to Hero and the podcast episodes. There definitely still will be all the odd uploads, you know, all the like I have some ranked games that I'm going to try to upload and some different things, and you might also see some videos of some other stuff. We had a new stream highlights video go up about a week ago as well, if you guys missed that. But yeah, I'm going to do my best to be consistent. Like I said, I'm doing a bunch more traveling pretty soon here. So actually here in a couple weeks, I'm going back to Texas for a little bit, and then I'm going from there to Nebraska because I have a family thing. And then I'm going from there to, I come back here for like a day or two, and then I go from there to HCS Atlanta. So it is the middle of summer and things are extremely busy. But I am going to do my best to stay consistent and keep doing all the stuff. So yeah, that being said, I hope you guys bear with me, and I hope you guys also are enjoying your summer. I hope you guys are having a great time, no matter what you guys got going on. Whether you are done with school for the summer and you're just chilling, or if you are working, or if you're traveling, or you know, whatever. If you got good stuff going on, bad stuff going on, family stuff with your friends, I just hope everything is going well for y'all. I hope nothing but the best for y'all. And yeah, if things are going sideways, I certainly hope it starts to look up for y'all. Cause yeah, like I said, I love y'all and I want nothing but the best for y'all. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for today. I think I'm gonna let y'all go on that note. Like I said, I appreciate y'all kicking it with me for a little bit of a longer episode of the highlight reel. We should be back next week with another one. Same bad time, same bad channel. Y'all know the fucking dealio. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, remember to get down in the description. If you are watching this on YouTube, get down in the description. Check out all the links there: Twitch, Twitter, Discord, podcast, especially my Twitch and my second channel. Because like I said, streaming every single day, and on the second channel, that's where all the stuff goes up. But yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube, link in the description as well for the podcast link. You can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, fucking Amazon Podcasts, all the shit. I don't think Google Podcasts is even a thing anymore. But yeah, anywhere you get your podcasts, you can listen to the highlight reel. And also vice versa. If you are listening to this on any sort of podcast platform, remember to go check us out on the YouTube and on the Twitch, where we are making good Halo and just gaming content in general every single day. I'm really enjoying what we've got going on, and I think we're making some good stuff. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. But yeah, with all that said, I'm gonna let y'all go. So yeah, appreciate y'all kicking it with me one last time. Much love, much respect, as always. Stay tuned, everybody. I'll catch y'all later.